Hey, how you doing? Scott here from scottsbaselessons.com, and today I'm going to give you two great exercises to get your pull-offs together. Okay, if you've ever heard lines like this, you're going to need to get your pull-offs together to be able to do that. So let's check the lesson out. Okay, before we get into this lesson, I just want to give a quick shout out to Overwater Bases. They've given or donated this base to scottsbaselessons.com so we can use it for a giveaway. So you can win this base. If you to get this from Overwater Bases, it was $3,000. Overwater Bases are, I consider, in the top few percent of handmade bases in the world. They're real cool guys, based in the UK, up in the Lake District. I'm talking real craftsmen. You know, wooden chisels, no CNC machines or anything like that, you know, the real thing. So if you want to put your name forward to win this base, the link is below this video, but make sure you watch this lesson first. Otherwise, you know, you might win the base and you might not be able to do these pull-offs on it. So go to the competition after the lesson. So let's check this out. Two great exercises to get your pull-offs together. One of them is more of a technical kind of exercise, and the other one is a lick that employs using these pull-offs within it. So what is a pull-off? Well, a pull-off is, and before we go on any further, I'm just going to say I'm going to be showing you all these exercises around this area of the neck, because when you get down here, it's a real stretch, and you can use pull-offs down here. I do it all the time, you know. I use them all the time. But when you're doing these technical exercises, it's sometimes better to just give your hand a little bit of a break, okay, and just do them up here so it's less of a stretch. So we're going to be going with this 4th fret area here. We're going to be putting our index finger on the B string and then putting a finger per fret. A finger? I don't know what, it sounds like a chocolate sweet you'd eat, you know, a finger. Oh, I'd love a finger. Anyway, I digress. So let's... I've got really bad congestion, and I've been taking Sudafed or whatever it's called. Maybe it's making me go a bit crazy or something. It's the Sudafed. Keep away from Sudafed. Sorry, Sudafed people. If anybody from Sudafed is watching this, I love you guys. Anyway, so pull-offs. Right, so what is a pull-off? A pull-off is where you play one note and you pull down with the finger to make 2 notes. So you pluck it. Oops, you don't do that. You pluck it, and then you get 2 notes. So pluck it once, you get 2 notes. Okay? And that's it. Now, you don't want this to slur, so you don't want this. You want it to be controlled. Notice that my fingers aren't sticking out crazily or anything like that. If you want to check out a video I did on fretting hand technique, I'll put a link on this video somewhere. I'll put a link on the video somewhere, and I'll also put a link beneath the video as well. Make sure they're not slurring. So that's just using the index in the middle. So we're holding down the middle and then pulling down on the string and getting a note from the index as well. Notice we're not just lifting off, it's not this. It's not that, it's pulling down. Because when we pull down, we get we give the string a little bit more tension and essentially make the 2 notes sound the same volume. We don't want da-do, da-do. We want ba-da, ba-da, same volume. Okay, so the first exercise is just that movement, but just across the strings. Now, if you're on a 4 string, you can just do it from the C. Or if you're on a 5 string, you can just do it way down here. Or we're not even thinking about notes. We're just going across using our middle and index finger. Okay, so it sounds like this. Again. Notice the notes are the same lengths, trying to get the same volume. They're not slurred. It's my fingers aren't sticking out crazily, although my little finger is wanting to. The next set is 3-to-1, so ring finger to index. Okay, so again. The next set is pinky to index. Again. And then the next set, because you think that's it, it's not. We're going to do one more, and it's pinky to ring finger. Okay, so there we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 movements. Okay, here we go again. Middle to index. Ring finger to index. Pinky to index. Pinky to ring. And you can mess around with the speed of these. Obviously I'm playing them quite slow now. You want to be building that speed up so it's and then you can move that up the fretboard. Okay, now you might be thinking, well, why hasn't he done a pull off between the third and the ring finger and the middle finger? I could do, but I don't generally use that movement much. I don't use that combination much, so that's why I haven't put it in there. If you do use that combination or want to use that combination, you could put it in, but the fingering I use for scales doesn't really call for that. And I use a lot of different fingerings. If you've been following my videos for a while, you'll know that I play, crazy fingerings all up and down the neck. And I just never really come across that, so I don't want to put that in the exercise really because I don't use it. And you might not use it either, but you can put it in if you want. So that's the first exercise. And again, the things to look out for is your notes not being the same volume. You get bow, bow. You want it to be ba-da, 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 ba-da. You also don't want them to slur, ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. You want them exactly the same length. And then when you get to the third, the pinky and the ring, just make sure that you keep it, you keep it the same, you keep it going. If you've been having, you've been having a party while you've been doing the other ones, and then you get to that one, and it's a little bit harder, make sure you put an extra bit of work into that. And I actually use that movement a lot in my lines, that pinky to ring pull off. So something like all the time. All the time. And the next exercise we're going to get into, we're going to use that, within that little lick I've put together. So let's take a look at the lick. Okay, so this lick is it's a lick I've come up with. It's pentatonic sounding. It's that kind of, it's got that vibe, and it's also got a few notes in from the major scale as well. It's C major pentatonic, that's what we're using. But again, some notes from the major scale as well. It's kind of, it's kind of Pino-esque. He's used licks like this in a way on the John Mayer stuff that he's done in the trio. But I've added some extra notes in there to add a bit more of my style in there as well. And I'm going to use Hammer-Ons in this exercise as well. Now, if you haven't checked out my Hammer-On lesson, I've just released it. like literally just a few days ago. So I'll put a link on the screen somewhere to that and below as well. So if you get to the end of this lesson and you want to check that out to get the hammer-on exercises down, make sure you do so. So again, the link will be below. The link will be below this video. So let's take a look at the riff or the lick. Okay, so the lick is. Again. Again. And that's the kind of speed I want you to get it to. Okay, so imagine the groove to be and again. Okay, so it's up the C major pentatonic and down the major scale, kind of. Let's get into it. So we're going to go right up the C major pentatonic, right the way up. So from the C, and we're hammering on. Okay, so C, hammer on the D, E, hammer on the G, A, hammer on the C, D, hammer on the E. We don't want them to slur. Now when we get to that top E there, I want you to hammer it on, but then pull it off as well. Pull off, and then play that C. Again. So practice that bit first, just getting the ascending bit down. Once we've got that down, now here's a pull off from the pinky to the ring finger. Again. So that top bit, C, B, that pull off, then you play the D with your index, and then you play the C again. I'd practice that top bit, just that on its own. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Academy members at the at scotsbasslessons.com, you'll have the tab and notation for this. Guys on YouTube, if you haven't checked out the Academy yet, make sure you do so. Again, links below this video. You get the tab notation and multitude of other stuff as well that you can find out about by hitting the link. So let's get it to that point. So once you've got to that C, it's a pull off down to the A, and then you play the F and pull off to the E. Okay, so. And then after that part, you go up the D minor arpeggio. And then, so you're picking all of these. Then to the third of the G7 arpeggio. Pull off, pick, pull off, down to the third of the C. Again. So we've got 3 pull-offs in a row there. Again. Pick, pull off, pick, pull off, pull off. So here's the full thing in its entirety. 4. Three, 4. Ah. So, you know, you can use it as a solo line. Again, that was the time I played it then. I didn't start on the 1. I kind of shifted it. You can mess around with how you place it on the beat and use it. You can pull it off the beat and things like that. That's a different lesson in itself. But hopefully you enjoyed this lesson. Just a few little pointers. Make sure you check out the fretting hand technique lesson, because it really, if you haven't got your fretting hand together, playing stuff like this will be almost impossible for you. Check out the Hammer-On lesson. All these lessons I'm telling you about, the links are below this lesson as well. If you haven't checked out the Hammer-On lesson, make sure you check out the Hammer-On lesson. Again, that's that end lick is the first part of it is all Hammer-On, so you're going to want to check that out. And the pull-off exercise, which was just take your time with it, because it's really hard to get your hands to be friendly with that type of stuff sometimes. They try and put up a little bit of a battle. Always, when you're practicing these technique things, don't do it until your hands hurt. If your hands hurt, put the bass down and leave it for 10 minutes. Your body's telling you something, so listen to it. I don't want you to injure yourself doing this. Then just enjoy it as well. It could be frustrating to start with, especially if you haven't got that fretting hand technique together. Check out the lesson. It's easy fixable, but again, with anything technique related, it sometimes does take a long time to make a change in your technique, because basically you're reprogramming your brain. Your brain has been sending the same signal for months or weeks, maybe if you just started, but months, years, decades sometimes, So take your time if you are doing a technique change. Again, you can win this bass from Overwater Basses. Massive thanks for Chris at Overwater Basses for sending us this. The link is below this lesson as well. Hopefully I've included everything I wanted to do in this lesson, including my Sudafed outburst. Take it easy, and I will see you next time in the shed.